A Singlejack is a short-handled sledgehammer. So is utilizing the Singlejack Assault Rifle in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands gonna hammer your enemies into oblivion? Or is it gonna fail to hammer home what you need it to? What's up YouTube? Zero here. And today I have an epic gun review of the Singlejack in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this video, I'll go through the overview of the Singlejack that I'm utilizing in this video. Then I'll get into some more gameplay and I'll talk about the pluses and minuses of the Singlejack. Then I'll get into Fate or Hate. Is the Singlejack Assault Rifle fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory? Or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands content. I also do a bunch of other role-playing games, so feel free to check those out as well. I'm slowly creeping up to 1 million subscribers. Yeah, I have about 998,000 left, but I'm slowly creeping there. Without further ado, let's talk about this Singlejack. I have the Practiced Singlejack of Striking. It's chaotic, and it's a black powder make, which is the Jacobs from previous Borderlands games. The damage is at 1041, the accuracy is at 64%, handling is at 77%, reload time is at 2.8 seconds, the fire rate's at 4.1 per second, and the magazine size is at 10. There's no elemental damage on the one I have. Enchanted on spellcast, increase ability damage by 30% for 10 seconds. This has increased gun damage by 46%, plus 10% critical hit damage, and has a 3.3 times zoom. So now that I've talked about the overview of this Singlejack, let's get into some more gameplay and talk about the pluses and minuses of this gun. Now, being a black powder, or a Jacobs, I love calling them Jacobs because Jacobs never dies. It's a one-shot, one-hit kill type of rifle. Typically, when you think of black powder or Jacobs, you're thinking of the high damage output gun. You want each shot to deal as much damage as possible. The magazine size is small, only at 10, so I want every shot to deal as much damage as possible. This gun just doesn't feel like it does a lot per shot. I'd like it to deal more damage, and even though this is chaotic, it just didn't feel like it was doing that. The reload's fine. It's not the longest that you can find of assault rifles, but it's not the quickest either. The magazine size is relatively low, and the damage isn't really doing much for me. You also have to pull the trigger per each shot. You can't hold down the trigger, so that's another drawback of the gun. The sight I have is very nice and does work well with this gun. The gun is very accurate. Being a single shot where you have to pull the trigger each time makes it very easy to hit the target that you're trying to hit. There's not a lot of recoil. And the sight on this just coincides very well with really the length that you want to be shooting at, that medium to longer range with that Jacobs rifle. So it does coincide well with that. The sight, the accuracy, and the distance that you can shoot at your enemies from, making sure that you stay away from those enemies. However, it doesn't have a high damage output, and only having 10 shots does make it so you have to reload more often than other guns. Some of your other assault rifles can get very high with the amount of shots you have before you reload. Granted, they're not a Jacobs, they're not as much damage output per shot, but over the course of an entire magazine, it can feel like this Singlejack deals a lot less damage than other assault rifles. With that being said, let's get into Fate or Hate. Is this gun fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory? Are its pluses enough to overcome the negatives of this gun? or should you just trash this gun and get another assault rifle? I've always loved Jacobs guns. One shot, one kill, or you're not using a Jacobs. Unfortunately, this Singlejack just lacks damage output. Furthermore, having a smaller magazine means you're reloading a lot and not dealing a lot of damage, especially when compared to other assault rifles. While the Singlejack does have a couple of nice tricks, the sight does work very well and the gun's very accurate, so you can hit crits more easily. It's just not enough to overcome the flaws of this rifle. So for that reason, I'm gonna hate it. I just didn't like it as much and it didn't have as much damage output. But let me know in the comments section if you've utilized this gun and what you think of it. Leave a comment and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.